Hi, Peter Charles here, Folk to Fly, fly fishing. And today we're going to tie a March brown spider that's done out of this Wet Flies book by Dave Hughes. Very simple pattern. I think it'd be quite effective. And it's got a couple of unusual twists to it, which I kind of like. So let's start the materials. We've got a size 14 3906B. We're going to use this hot orange for a thread. In the original pattern, it just calls for orange. I thought, well, let's go for a hot orange and make it a little bit brighter. The rib is gold. Now, in the original, he called for mylar, but the small mylar, I find, is a little bit big when you get down to like a size 14 fly. If I was doing this in a size 10, the mylar would be fine. I went with this tinsel just so it's a little bit smaller. The hackle is partridge. What else? And use a brown feather. And we're going to be using hare's ear for the dubbing. So let's get going. Since this is covered over by the dubbing, we don't have to get too fancy with the thread. Just bring it back to the start of the bend. Now we put in our rib. Couple of turns to bind it in. Now for the dubbing. Okay, now we'll do our rib. And finally our hackle. You can see how I've prepped the feather here. I've just taken off one side and cut in a tying in point. Now you'll notice that the hackle on this fly is quite large, and that is in keeping with the way Dave ties these. Larger than normal, and he ties them so they really stick up. Another one that didn't want to break off. And finally to whip finish. There we go, our March brown spider. Very interesting looking pattern, especially with that hot orange. I think that's going to work quite well. And you notice I got a little bit of hot orange in the tag as well. Almost like a tag. It doesn't hurt to have a little bit of orange showing. The other thing when you use a hot color like this under dubbing is every now and again it shows through in the body. You know, and it sort of puts a little bit of glow into the body as well. I think that'd be a really effective fly. We call it a March brown, but you know, the reality is, in a smaller size, it can do for almost any emerging insect, and in a larger size, it just becomes a March brown pattern. So give it a try, the March brown spider. Cheers.